evening and welcome once again to the program Africa Today. This is right here on NBC, your number one African TV station on 43.2. It comes to you every Saturday at 8:30 p.m. and a repeat broadcast on Monday at 10:30 a.m. Coming up on the program, oil production resumed in South Sudan. HIV contraception surge gets a boost in South Africa. And in Egypt, a year of abuses against detained children, Human Rights Watch has spoken out against that. Education in Rwanda moved towards a single university. And on entertainment, Uganda's royal princess says, I do. And on sports, $100,000 bonus for the Green Eagles if they do win the African Cup of Nations coming on next year. We've been joined once again by Funsho Olamigoke and Godwin Abuka. Good evening and you're welcome to the program.
Thank you.
All right, let's start with South Sudan. For a year now, they cut down on, or they actually suspended oil production because they had an issue with Khartoum. They had some money they had to pay to them for them to export crude through their pipes, but they've resumed. Funsho, your thoughts on it?
I think the problem is not just about this. It started from the fact that they were one country.
Right.
And then they had to secede, and there was a lot of battle. I think they still have troops at their common borders, and they continue to fight from time to time. But the problem I see in this is one that indicates that Khartoum, that is the Sudan, the original Sudan. There's Sudan, there's the South
Sudan right now.
Khartoum is the capital of Sudan original, and Juba is the capital of South Sudan. So we refer to them Khartoum and Juba. Khartoum has a little eagle right here. Unfortunately for them, Juba has a lot of oil.
Right.
But unfortunately for South Sudan, the handicap, they're not exactly landlocked, but they do not have access to seaports, sea facilities and all of that. And so they have to depend on Khartoum to get their oil exported. And unfortunately too, their revenue is 98% dependent on oil. And they have oil in abundance. But what can you do when you have so much oil and you have no way of getting it to your customers? But then, Khartoum is saying we are ready to work with you, but you have to pay a fee. You can't use our facilities for free. You have to know that.
I guess it's only fair, it's business, right?
It's fair.
Yeah.
But the other problem is they're ready to do that, they're ready to pay because they have the money anyway. However, the troops, these Khartoum troops, are always harassing these folks. And you know there have been a lot of fighting at the border and all of that. So for this to really end, Juba is saying, wait a minute, we can't do this. We cannot continue to kill our own people just because we want to export oil. So they suspended. They actually announced they were going to resume, but somebody said not so quick, hang in there. America intervened again and says, look, make all effort and begin to export. Because if you don't, you're killing your economy, which is true. But then you have to choose between wanting to make money and killing your people. So at this point, they're on hold. As much as the topic says they are resuming, they haven't resumed yet because again, some 24, 48 hours ago, it was suspended again because there's no security. And they both agree that they have to work on the security on both sides for them to be able to go back to work.
Okay, Godwin.
Yeah, well, I think he's right. I think Funsho actually said exactly what what is happening over there. But basically, the reason why it's also being put on hold is that Khartoum is actually acting for some other demands, right? Okay. They're making some demand. What is happening over there is that they are accusing South Sudanese, right, of supporting some dissidents in Khartoum at this point, which is why, so what they are saying is that they should actually come out and openly denounce their support for them. But then the South Sudanese are also indicating that they've never supported them in the first place.
This is like being punished for you claiming pulling apart from Khartoum. But unfortunately for South Sudan, like Funsho said, more or less, they depended on also
98%.
No, I mean, what is happening actually is that it's a, each party actually depends on the other. As he rightly mentioned, Jubal or South Sudan actually has 3/4 of the oil production.
That's it.
They do. But the point is that you can't process it until it goes through, or until you get the support from Khartoum. So that is their handicap. Yeah. So I think that basically what they have to do is that the deal that they signed in Ethiopia was a very good one.
Yeah.
It's a very good step, and I think they need to actually stop all these petty things they are doing to actually move ahead. And then because one, oil production means a lot for not only for African economies, for other economies as well. And you know what it can do for the economy. South Sudan is a new economy. They actually gained their independence in July last year. So that can do a lot for them. When they suspended oil production, what happened? It's actually crippled their economy, and it also crippled the economy of Sudan or Khartoum. So I think that they have to actually work out their differences.
Let's look at another thing though. Isn't this is an issue with a few of the African countries where they have discovered oil, and then you realize, do you have the oil? You can't do anything with it. Like South Sudan, you have to pay to get it crude, go through another country's pipes to get it refined and brought back to you, which costs a lot of money. How do you think it can be improved? Not only in South Sudan, but the other African countries too. A couple of years ago, Ghana discovered oil. Yeah, Ghana was able to refine the crude oil, so had to pay to send it out of the country, get it refined and brought back, and it cost a fortune.
Those are crazy things.
Yeah. How can we improve? How can Africa improve on that?
You see, that's what we have always said around here, that infrastructure is what every economy needs. Even America is continuing to build infrastructure. That's what Obama has been saying all this while. Now, if you look at South Sudan, you just said it. Independence barely a year ago.
Just last July, right?
So, incidentally, the infrastructure they're using that belongs to Khartoum now belonged to all of them originally.
Yeah.
But nowadays, there's a boundary. So what needs to be done is for South Sudan to begin to work on its infrastructure.
Yeah.
The moment they build their own infrastructure,
right?
then they become independent. They won't have to rely on somebody else to do what they need to do. In the case of Ghana, if you discover you wake up one day and you discover oil, and you are worrying about refining, it's crazy. You don't have to worry about that. That's not where the money is. Where you're talking of refining, you're talking of, okay, first of all, you have to get the crude, which is the black gold.
Yeah.
When you get the crude, that's where the money is. You get that extracted and you export. That's where the money is. Yeah. And that builds your foreign reserve. Yeah. The other thing about refining is simply when you refine. From refining, you get kerosene, you get aviation fuel. Aviation fuel and kerosene is almost the same. They have the same octane rating. And then you have petrol, and then you have diesel. And then beyond that, you have other paraffins and all of those. Those are for local consumptions. Right? So if you have crude oil and you are exporting and you are making money, you can afford to import petrol. That is refined petrol. So that won't be a problem. But while you are doing that, as a matter of fact, from the day they were exploring for oil, they ought to know in advance that 10 years from now they're going to begin to, and therefore sign contracts and look for people that can build their own refineries. But the funny part of it is sometimes when you build your refinery, it costs you more per liter to refine than when you import.
It's right. So at the end of the day, you're not really making any money.
Yeah, you're not really making money. But of course, that's why, for instance, in Nigeria, the government has to subsidize the cost of refining so that per liter for ordinary car users or motorists on the road, it will go down.
All right.
And it continues to generate problems. So,
okay. So that's it on South Sudan with the oil business. Hope they'll be able to come to some kind of agreement.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, is the people who are going to benefit, But then when you have a few people in power pulling the chains, it's the local people who do suffer.
I mean, it's politics that is actually dragging this whole thing. if they're able to address or deal with that. I know it's a long-standing kind of issue, but I believe that if they're able to work out these differences, it will be to the benefit of both countries, which is ironic actually, because I'm talking about both countries when in actual fact
it used to be not anymore.
But don't forget, we're talking about two different tribes. You are in the north, I'm in the south. We are different people.
Yeah.
But the problem I see with our leaders is ordinary ego.
Yeah, I guess.
Because all you need to do, if you were, for instance, if I were the president of South Sudan and you're in Khartoum, what I need to do is calm down
and work together.
Call you one-on-one. Let's talk this over, my brother. Let's meet in Paris over the weekend. And we sit down and we talk it out like brothers. We haul.
That's you.
The funny thing though is that
that's what should happen. Really.
Yeah.
No, I agree.
In ideal world, that's what
But the
should
funny
happen.
thing that is happening is that there are other hirelings, right, of government who are pulling those strings. It's making it very difficult for them to do that.
So you see, when the president says this is the way, it's different from Sudan, whether Khartoum or Juba, you can't call them the real democracy. They are not there yet. So when the president says, this is what I want, it's not
But remember, in African politics, right, there are some people who are actually power brokers, right, who really are the ones behind those things.
I'm pulling the strings. All right, so that's on South Sudan, and we taking a break. We'll be right back.